Well, as many brace for an impending natural disaster, the oil company BP is coming under increasing fire, and politicians are asking how proper safeguards weren't in place. A short while ago, I caught up with Congressman Issa of California. He's the ranking Republican on the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform. Congressman Issa, one of your colleagues in the Senate has said that any plans to expand oil drilling off the eastern coast of the United States are, as he calls it, dead on arrival. Is that true?
Well, I certainly think that we have to once and for all resolve the question of how many safety valves of what type need to be in place to ensure no leak like this in the future.
And did BP, do you think, fall short of regulations? Were they skimping on their safety concerns?
Well, Transocean, which actually operates the rig, owns the rig, appears to have complied with the laws. As a matter of fact, BP was about to get an award or be one of 3 finalists for an award for safety. So I don't think it's a question of existing regulations. It's a real question of whether or not the safety standards are up to snuff, whether this type of dead man switch was good enough for the job, or as we suspect, technology really has not given us the belt and suspenders necessary to absolutely prevent this in the future.
But what you seem to be suggesting is until those safety standards can be guaranteed, there will be no more offshore drilling. Is that right?
Well, I think for a while you can almost count on there being a review. But all the way back in 2003, MMS, the agency responsible for this safety, had a study done that they paid for that appears to have been ignored when it came to upgrading the safety.
And what are you as regulators doing right now about the thousands of oil rigs off the U.S. coastline to check that they are not flouting regulations, that they are in compliance with existing safety standards?
Well, one of the problems we have in the United States is this agency, MMS, has been shown to be very cozy with the industry and pretty inept. They can't even tell you how much revenue they should be getting from the various oil and natural gas companies. Just the opposite. They take the checks and then they send an email saying, would you please tell us what this check is for and how much? And that's part of the problem, is they're inept in accounting, they're inept in safety, and they have way too cozy a relationship.
So what are congressmen and women doing at the moment? I mean, are there things that you are doing specifically this week, since this disaster, to make sure that other oil rig owners are in compliance, that they're not in this cozy relationship where they can get away with things?
Well, I certainly think that this is a wake-up call to all the operators, and I suspect that they are double and triple checking. Some even have shut down because the cost of a failure is so great on these companies. What we need to do, though, is to make sure that going forward, there is a safety standard that if they adhere to it, we can all be comfortable. Today, I don't think we're comfortable with the dead man switch. There's some question on the alternate acoustic switch, and all of this should have been resolved a decade ago and hasn't been.
Okay, Congressman Issa, thank you very much for joining us from Capitol Hill.
You're
Thank you,
welcome,
Congressman.
Katie.